What's going on, everybody? It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews, also home to the best MJ community. Today is Thursday. It's the last day of the month, February 29th. I hope you're doing well. And in this video, we're going to be discussing Trulieve's recent earnings. And then toward the end of the video, I've got a couple other articles I want to share with you as well with regards to some tax refunds. And then also towards the end of the video, we'll do some charting. I'll bring up the TCNNF chart and we'll take a look at the price action and what we can expect in that regard in the days, weeks, months ahead. So as I mentioned, we're going to be taking a look at the recent Q4 earnings. They had a huge beat, and then we'll take a look at some of the highlights for the entire fiscal year of 2023 as well. Before we get to all that and more, though, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's a free way to support the channel, and you can also check us over on X, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. I'm going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment and informational purposes only. You should never, ever buy or sell anything based on anything that I say. So this is the article here. We'll go through some highlights. I'm not going to read the entire report so you can breathe a sigh of relief, but we'll go over some key highlights, what I found important. And just before we dive into that, I did want to bring up the estimates. You can see here they had a huge beat, $287 million in revenue, and then they came in at negative 0.12 on EPS. So the consensus, what I did was I took investing.com. And again, if you haven't seen these earnings review videos or prep videos, essentially what I do is I take the consensus of all analyst estimates on Wall Street, and then I divide them. So I added 268.16 million for revenue on investing.com. Then I added the TradingView 268.147, and then I went to Moomoo platform, and you can see here their revenue was forecasting based on three analysts. They were forecasting 267.967 million. So if you add all three of those up, it said 268 was the consensus, and we came in with a massive beat, right? 287. So 287 versus expected 268, huge beat there. And then EPS was negative 0.1475. And then on TradingView, we had negative 0.149. And on Moomoo platform, based on six analysts, we had negative 0.156. So again, added all three of those up and divided by three. So negative 0.15 was the consensus on Wall Street based on analyst estimates. And we came in at, negative 0.12. So a positive outcome there. It was still negative, but it did beat pretty big there in terms of earnings per share. So they had a big beat in revenue, big beat on EPS. And then they also reported that they received 113 million in 280E tax refunds, right? So we know that they've been battling it out and basically trying to claw that money back. And this is going to be interesting to see if other companies follow suit in the sector. But as we know, rescheduling is potentially going to take place. We're just waiting on the DEA to come back with its review and either confirm or deny the recommendation to Schedule 3 from HHS. So if that were to come out sometime between now and the end of April, I think is the most likely scenario, then 280E goes away over, as soon as it gets rescheduled, it goes away overnight. It doesn't go away once the DEA approves Schedule 3. It has to go through a comment period of 60 days, and then it takes a while to get enacted. More than likely going to be toward the end of 2024, if not 2025, in my opinion, even if they come out with the decision between now and the end of April. And as we know, they paid over $300 million to the U.S. government just under 280E tax code alone. So this would probably put them into a positive territory. Imagine if all that money was hitting their bottom line, right? So we'll take a look at the highlights here, and then we'll dive into the TCNNF chart. So Trulieve reported fourth quarter and full year 2023 results, highlighting year-end momentum and cash generation. And all dollar figures will be in US dollars. Fourth quarter performance delivered highest revenue and gross margin for the year. Record cash flow from operations of $202 million and free cash flow of $161 million in 2023. Expect 2024 cash flow from operations of at least $225 million. So some financial and operational highlights. Achieved GAAP gross margin of 54% with gross profit of $154 million. Reported net loss of $33 million. Adjusted net loss of $23 million. Excludes non-recurring charges, asset impairments, disposals, and discontinued operations. Achieved EBITDA of $73 million or 25% of revenue, and adjusted EBITDA of $88 million or 31% of revenue. Relocated one and opened 4 new dispensaries in Florida, which we know they could be potentially on the ballot here. I think that's pretty much a done deal. And then I think it's pretty much a surefire deal that we're going to see adult use sales enacted at some point in 2025. I'm thinking the summertime of 2025, which will be huge, obviously, for Trulieve and these operators in Florida, right? I know Curaleaf is there as well, and AYR are going to be a big beneficiary of that market as well. They ended the quarter with 32% of retail locations outside of the state of Florida. For the full year, 2023 financial operational highlights. Those previous ones were just for the quarter. This is for the full year. So revenue of $1.13 billion and 96% of revenue from retail sales. Achieved GAAP gross margin of 52% with gross profit of $589 million. SG&A, so sales, general, and administrative expenses, lowered by $61 million from the prior year at $386 million, so that's a big improvement. Reported net loss of $527 million for the year. Adjusted net loss of $70 million excludes non-recurring charges, asset, goodwill impairments, disposals, and discontinued operations. Moving through a little quicker, cash as of December 31st, 2023 was approximately $208 million. They launched adult use sales in Connecticut and Maryland and opened new markets with medical dispensaries in Georgia and Ohio. Exited California retail assets and operations in Massachusetts as part of cash preservation and general plan to bolster business resilience. Opened 17 dispensaries in 2023, increasing retail footprint to 192 retail locations nationwide at year end. Recent developments: the Smart and Safe Florida campaign for adult use presented oral arguments for the Supreme Court in Florida in November, and the deadline for the ruling is April 1st, 2024. So we should see very, very soon over the next several weeks. Added 2 executives to the leadership team in January: Wes Getman, Chief Financial Officer, and Mary Zhang, I think that's how you pronounce it, COO. Opened 1 retail location in Pinellas Park, Florida, and currently operates 193 retail locations and dispensaries and over 4 million square feet of cultivation and processing capacity in the United States. So there, the highlights. We'll jump into the chart here, and we'll take a look at the technicals, read the tea leaves, see what the technical analysis is saying and what the chart is saying here at the moment. We are seeing a little bit of weakness. We came off daily overbought territories and we're heading towards daily oversold. We could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross as well. You can see when the shorter term is below the longer term and they cross these exponential moving averages, usually we see lots of upside. It happened here, then we had a bear cross, more downside, we had a bull cross, and then price skyrocketed 126%. Now we're gearing up for another potential bear cross, but we are holding EMA 12 here on this pullback, which is a little bit of a good sign, but it's looking like we could be in favor of the bears at the moment. If we take a look at the weekly time frame, we could potentially confirm a weekly downtrend here. So we are seeing a lower high form. If we fail to get above 1196 resistance, the high of the bounce, then it's all about key support here at 803. 803 USD on the OTC is going to be key, because if we don't hold that support here, we confirm a weekly downtrend with a lower high and a lower low. So that is the must hold support at the moment on the short term here at 803. And then, like I said, key resistance there at 1196, which is the high of the bounce. But at the moment, we're in a weekly uptrend with a low, high, higher low, and higher high. So as long as 803 holds, we're still in a weekly uptrend. And we did hold EMA 12 on this back test, so it's looking pretty decent, but it's all about support and resistance. If we lose 803, then we're more than likely heading down to that EMA 26 as a back test around 709. And then if we take a look at the monthly time frame, we're in a monthly uptrend as well. We had our low, high, higher low, and higher high. So once we broke the high there at 780, that confirmed the monthly uptrend. Even if you just went long and entered there on the monthly uptrend confirming, which was the first time in history, you would have seen upside of a nice swing trade of about 52%. And we are gearing up for the first time in history an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross on the monthly. So in the short term, I'm bearish. I think we could head down around that $7 area, but then we would still just be in a monthly uptrend. Wouldn't be nothing to worry about. First time in history, and then potentially another first time in history occurrence where we see the EMA 12 and 26 bull cross on the monthly time frame. But lots of MJ is starting to trend back to its monthly EMA 26 and their 200 weekly moving averages. If we take a look at the weekly time frame here, you can see we held the 10-week on the pullback, which was good to see, but we did have a stochastic bear cross. We could see the MACD cross bearish as well, which is why I'm a little bit bearish here on the medium term as well. But long term, I'm not worried about. I think as long as this monthly uptrend holds, which, as long as if we do see monthly consolidation and a weekly downtrend. Look at that volume coming into. That's all-time high record monthly volume for TCNNF. So this is great to see, right? I'm of the thinking that we're going to see adult use approved and enacted in 2025, and then we're going to get rescheduling. 280E goes away. Just imagine what some of these companies are going to do. And full disclosure, I don't own TCNNF or TRUL. I don't own Trulieve directly. I own it indirectly through MSOS ETF. I've already gave my reasonings for that. Maybe it'll change in the future. I'll keep everybody posted if it does. But as of right now, I'm comfortable with my percentage allocation through the MSOS ETF. So if we take a look at The weekly time frame, you can see here lots of names are starting to trend back to their 200 weekly moving averages. That is a trend. So if you're following an MJ stock and yours hasn't done it yet, there's a very good chance that it could over the next few months as we look to potential rescheduling and massive catalysts on the horizon with Florida and Pennsylvania, Germany. That's going to be a slow rollout, but MJ Act set for a review here in Canada and a spring release. So this is all coinciding very nicely here. And you can see GTBIF got very close, only a couple dollars away from its 200 weekly. And if we take a look at TCNNF, you can see here if we were to get back to our 200 weekly moving average here, that would put us around 18 bucks. So on the daily time frame, we're above all of the daily moving averages as well, and we just had a golden cross with the 50-day below the 200 and crossing. When the price crossed on that golden cross, even if you just entered there, price went, it was at $5 whenever that golden cross occurred, but then we had a massive fake out and dip and accumulation before the actual move came. So even if you just entered here on that cross, you could have entered at 536-ish. Yes, it would have dropped down to just below 386 in the 380s there, but then it went up to 12 bucks, right? So you don't have to time it exactly as long as you're buying near the bottom. And generally when we have a golden cross, everybody and their dog knows what that is, right? So these market makers say, look, all retail's thinking, there's a golden cross, we're going to the moon tomorrow. We actually seen a pretty massive sell-off after the fact, went from all the way down from 5 to high 3s, right? And then we had the real move come. So let that be a lesson. The next time you see a golden cross occur, that very well could happen where we see a sell-off and, like I said, one final shakeout before we see a massive move. And usually these shakeouts here, right, are just, if you zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out, are just a monthly level, a monthly time frame, higher low level forming, right? So when everybody thought here that, kind of the MJ plan is going to cease to exist, this sector is going to die and go to zero, everything's going to zero, it was just a monthly higher low forming and then a monthly uptrend confirming for the first time in history, which I don't think many people saw that coming over the last few months. But this has been something I've been saying for a while now, that I'm extremely bullish leading into the spring here, and I think that we could get a bunch of catalysts strung together. And the more names that start to confirm monthly uptrends, we know Trulieve and AYR were the first ones to confirm monthly uptrends, and GTBIF, and then Trulieve followed suit, and MSOS ETF also confirmed a monthly uptrend for the first time in history. So let me know what you think of this report. Overall, I think it was massive. I think we should see a pretty decent day to the upside today. GTBIF, so Green Thumb, reported earnings yesterday. I did a video on that, and they were up slightly, but then down near the low of the day. So a bit of a sell-off, and I think that we could potentially see Trulieve save the sector here, and we should see a pretty decent day as long as the S&P 500 doesn't see a massive correction, and it would be just healthy in my opinion. But closed pretty strong today on the S&P 500, so we'll see if we can close the day tomorrow, the end of the week, and a brand new month. So hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening. It's Rod with Powell Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth. If you found this video helpful, smash a like. I would appreciate it. Love each and every one of you who supported me along the way. And let me know your thoughts and opinions on this report in the comments. We'll continue the conversation there. Take care. We'll see you again on the next video.